15 years ago, everyone told Daniel Carter he was making the biggest mistake of his life. He was a struggling single father who owned a small construction company in Dallas, Texas. His wife had died giving birth to their son years earlier, and after losing the boy to a rare illness at the age of 6, Daniel lived alone, pouring every ounce of his energy into work. He believed his heart had nothing left to give until one freezing December evening changed everything. Driving home after delivering supplies to a job site, Daniel noticed a little girl sitting beneath a bus shelter wrapped in an oversized hoodie. She couldn't have been older than 8. Snow mixed with rain soaked her clothes while dozens of people hurried past without stopping. Daniel parked his truck and approached carefully. The girl refused to speak at first, clutching a worn backpack as if it contained her entire world. Eventually, she whispered her name was Emma and admitted she had been living on the streets after losing both parents within a single year. There were no relatives willing to take her, and she had already run away from 2 overcrowded foster homes. Daniel couldn't drive away. He bought her a warm meal, contacted social services, and spent weeks working through the legal process. Many people questioned his decision. Friends warned him that adopting an older child with a painful past would only bring more heartbreak. Business partners suggested he focus on rebuilding his company instead of raising another child. Daniel ignored every opinion except his own. 3 months later, Emma Carter officially became his daughter. Life wasn't easy in the beginning. Emma suffered nightmares almost every night and struggled to trust anyone. Loud noises frightened her, and she often hid food in her bedroom because she feared going hungry again. Daniel never became frustrated. He attended counseling sessions with her, helped with homework every evening, and reminded her every single day that she was finally home. Slowly, the frightened little girl began smiling again. She discovered a love for reading, developed an interest in debate, and eventually dreamed of becoming a lawyer because she wanted to protect children who couldn't protect themselves. As the years passed, Daniel's small construction company grew into Carter Development Group, one of the fastest-growing commercial builders in Texas. His honesty earned him loyal employees and long-term clients. Emma graduated at the top of her high school class before earning a scholarship to study law at the University of Texas. Daniel attended every graduation, every award ceremony, and every important milestone. Whenever reporters asked about his success in business, he always smiled and said, "The best investment I ever made wasn't in real estate. It was believing in one little girl." 15 years after their first meeting, Daniel's world nearly collapsed overnight. A powerful competitor named Victor Langston accused Carter Development Group of fraud involving several government contracts. Fabricated financial records appeared online, investors panicked, and banks froze millions of dollars in funding. News stations declared Daniel's empire was finished before the trial had even begun. Former business allies abandoned him almost immediately, fearing damage to their own reputations. Even Daniel's attorneys privately admitted the evidence looked devastating. On the morning of the trial, Daniel walked into the Dallas federal courthouse looking older than his 60 years. Reporters crowded the entrance while television cameras followed every step. Inside the courtroom, Victor Langston sat confidently beside his legal team, convinced victory was guaranteed. Daniel quietly took his seat, believing he had already lost everything he had spent decades building. Just as the judge prepared to begin, the courtroom doors opened. A confident young woman entered carrying several organized case files. She wore a Navy business suit, walked calmly to the defense table, and smiled warmly at Daniel. "Dad," she said softly, "I'm here." Daniel looked up in surprise. "Emma?" She nodded. "I passed the bar 6 months ago. I've been working with the Federal Litigation Division ever since. When I heard about your case, I requested permission to join your defense." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "I never wanted you dragged into this." Emma gently squeezed his shoulder. "You once walked into my life when everyone else walked away. Now it's my turn." As the trial unfolded, Emma immediately noticed inconsistencies the opposing attorneys had overlooked. The financial documents accusing Daniel contained digital timestamps that didn't match the company's secure accounting system. She requested access to the original server records, and discovered someone had altered thousands of files only weeks before the investigation began. Working through the night with forensic technology experts, Emma uncovered the truth. Victor Langston had secretly bribed a former IT contractor to hack Carter Development Group's network and plant false evidence. Security footage, encrypted emails, and hidden payment records connected every part of the conspiracy. The next morning, Emma presented the evidence before the court with remarkable confidence. The courtroom became completely silent as every forged document was exposed one by one. Victor's attorneys desperately objected, but the digital records were undeniable. Under cross-examination, the former contractor confessed to everything. Within hours, the judge dismissed every accusation against Daniel and ordered a criminal investigation into Victor Langston's fraudulent scheme. Investors quickly restored their confidence, frozen accounts were released, and Carter Development Group's reputation became stronger than ever. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded Daniel, expecting him to celebrate his legal victory. Instead, he placed an arm around Emma and smiled. "People keep asking how I built a successful company," he said. "Today you witnessed the real answer. 15 years ago, I didn't rescue this little girl. I simply gave her a chance. She became the woman who rescued me." Emma looked at her father with grateful tears. "You gave me more than a home," she said. "You gave me a future worth fighting for." Months later, Carter Development Group established the Emma Carter Foundation, providing legal scholarships for foster children who dreamed of becoming attorneys. At the dedication ceremony, Emma looked across the audience filled with children from foster homes and remembered the frightened little girl sitting alone beneath that bus. Shelter. She realized one act of kindness had never truly ended. It had simply grown into something far greater than either of them could have imagined, because when someone chooses love over fear, compassion over convenience, and family over circumstance, they don't just change one life, they create a legacy that continues changing countless others for generations to come.